Hello, today I'm going to listen to Thick as a Brick Part 2. As you can see, this was my reaction to Part 1. I filmed that February 18th. I'm now March 24th. I was just reviewing one. I was wearing my little fur. It's fake, by the way, but it was very cold that day. I was just kind of reviewing a bit of it because I'm jumping into Part 2 cold after not hearing this for 6 weeks. I want to know what I said. Not going to get too thick as a brick part 2 in this video. Mainly students coming. Well, his writing is deep. It's music for smart people who like poetry. His words are so beautiful, and then I love his interplay between the flute and the other instruments and how it's very folky, but then you'll get the rock sections and it's very proggy. And it's just fun, and then it became predictable in a good way. I started singing along because the harmony was predictable, and it was great. I love that it's predictable. I was like, yeah, here we go, you know? The words was a whole journey. So the interview, okay. To Mend Your Rotten Ways. All right, now I remember Part 1, so we can go to Part 2. Thick as a Brick, Part 2. Dun dun dun. Dun dun dun. That's a nice little pair of melodies. Bum bum bum. Oh, okay. Surprising me.
That a man was born, and we pronounce him dead to peace. There's a load lifted from his shoulders, with discovering his disease. We'll take a child from him, put it to the test. Teach it to be a wise man, how to fool the rest.
Oh, sounds like a new song.
In the clear white sands of morning wonder, I take my place with the Lord of the Hills, and the blue-eyed soldiers stand slightly discolored in neat little rows, sporting canvas. With the jock straps pinching, they slouch to attention whilst queuing for sarnies at the office canteen. Singing, how's your granny? And a good old Ernie coughed up a tenner on a premium on wing.
Okay, repeating. With guitar. Wow.
Like a cradle in the sea of storm, and all the promises they made around the sea.
Or ground beneath the Sadist Fall. Brilliant. Little flute there. Wow, that sounds so cool. Just imagine getting this record when it came out. Mind blown.
The poet and the wise men stand behind the gun, behind the gun. Signal for the crack of dawn, light the sun, light the sun. In the day.
I like the harmony there. Da, 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 dun, 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 dun. believe in the day? Yay! I love the organ.
The fading hero has returned.
Ooh, major. To the night major. The poet sigh. Hear you hear? The harmony. Do you believe in the day? Oh, okay. Drums, like a military march. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Rock it out. Da 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 da. Oh, I like that scale. Sounds like a military. The king is coming, like in Robin Hood. Okay. Da 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 da. Okay. Colonists.
Tell you the tale of your life, of your love and the cut of the knife, the tireless oppression, the wisdom instilled, the desire to care and be killed.
Soft.
Well, let me sing of the loser's full line in the street
As the life bus goes by.
The pavements are empty, the cocktails are fed while the full ghost is gone in the sky.
Oh. Ooh, full coast of God in the sky. Okay, flute power.
your dead, as the sins of the fathers are fed, with the blood of the fools and the thoughts of the wise, and from the pen under your bed.
Quiet.
Make you a present of song,
As the wise man breaks wind and is gone, while the fool with the hourglass is cooking his
and
goose.
the nursery rhyme winds along.
So come on. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
So come on, ye young men who are building castles, kindly state the time of the year, and join your voices in the hellish chorus, mark the precise nature of your fear. See the summer lightning cast its bolts upon you, and the hour of judgment draweth near. Would you be the fool stood in the suit of armor of the wiser man who rushes clear?
Whoa, big blast off. We're in a new thing now. This is a big section.
So come on, you childhood heroes, won't you rise up from the pages of your comic books, your super crooks, and show us all the way. Well, make your will and testament, won't you join your local government? We'll have Superman for president, let Robin save the day. So where the hell was Biggles when you needed him last Saturday? And
Where were all the sportsmen?
who always pulled you through? They're
All resting down in Cornwall.
writing up the
Writing.
memoirs for a paperback edition of the Boy Scout Manual.
Ooh, orchestra. Okay, back to acoustic guitar.
So you ride yourselves over the field.
Slow down.
You make all your animal deals, and your
1,
wise
2,
men don't
3,
know
1, 2,
how it
3.
feels to be thick as a brick.
There we go. Babes. Whoa. Okay, hold on. That's a live thing separate. Okay. No, we're not doing that. So, wow. That's side two. So yes, it did come back to that same thing from side one, that Cornwall part, whatever, this moral of the story thing. And then as the comments, I want to conclude here, hold on, include in this video that there was lots of great comments from everybody about this. Now, I want to just say that this is quite a masterpiece. And I can't even imagine being a teenager or a child or even an adult, I guess. But I guess if you were already like 50 in 1972, you're probably not alive anymore. So the people who are alive now heard this as teens and kids and early 20s and stuff like that. I can't even imagine what it was like to get this record and to hear this, because you guys have never heard anything like this before, because this is so unique. This is so mind-blowing. This is just absolutely wild. 1972, I mean, this is the future. This is something y'all never heard before. And then to hear this, I would just be completely just taken aback. And also, as I was listening to it, I was like, wow, you guys probably just listened to this over and over again. You probably like took your record player and you like went back to the beginning, or then you flipped it over, went back to the beginning, or even on this part, you probably like heard something, you're like, wait, that was crazy. And then you like to put it back just a little bit, because you know how on record players, again, I grew up, my parents had a record player in my house when I was growing up. I mean, not exclusively, we also had a CD player, as you know, as young as I can remember. My dad had CD players because he was always at the state of the art technology. So I was born in the mid 80s. So by the time I was cognizant, we had a CD player, but we had records too. So I used to be able to put a record on and automatically did the thing, whatever, but you had to lift it up and put it back. So I bet you guys were like rewinding. And see, I know rewind because we had cassettes when I was a kid. So it's like, right, rewind. But no, but on a record, it was easier. Pick it up and drop it. You have to kind of guess where you are, though. There's no tracks. Like on CDs, you just have tracks, right? This was like guessing. You probably went back so many times being like, wait, what did he just say? What was that section? What was that instrument? How did they do that? Because it was quite brilliant. And I'm wondering from the recording perspective is, did they do that all in one take? Or I'm guessing they did track splicing and all that. Because I mean, the Beatles had that technology, and that was years, a decade earlier, not decade, but 1966 and all that. So they must have had something. But I want to go through some of your comments, because people said they'd love to hear more of Thick as a Brick. I love this group. Thick as a Brick's a masterpiece. When I was 14, I had it in my collection of vinyl records and then in my CDs. Seeing this man, Ian Anderson, the lead singer, songwriter, and flautist, standing on one leg doing the flute solo in his Renaissance garb is quite the sight. Progressive rocks. Would love to see the reaction to part 2. That's why I'm doing this, guys. It gives away my age, but the first time I heard this was on 8-track tape the week it was released. I've listened to thousands of it thousands of times, still enjoy it today as much as the first time. Young lady, you're just starting down the toll road and it's well worth the trip. Oh, please do part 2. Yes, please do, but stop that awful out of tune humming of yours. I'm not out of tune, guys. I'm learning. I'm a trained opera singer. Just look up my singing videos. I'm actually quite a good singer. I just am singing along to something I've never heard before, so I'm learning on the fly. But the only way I memorize something is by humming it. That's how I memorize things. So I kind of don't forget anything. I'm like an elephant. If I've heard it once, I'll never forget the song. But a part of that is as I'm listening to it, I'm writing it, I'm etching it, just like records are etched. I'm etching it into my mind by humming, okay? So please do side 2. You won't be disappointed. The drummer shows why he's the best drummer ever. I noticed that. The drummer was insane. And then there's a lot to expand upon this. I can't read everyone's comment, but you should see this film performed live in 1978. I bought this album, still listen to it. Part 2 is a must. The first time, happy to see you like this. For me, it's one of the top progressive albums of all time. I could see that. The wind blows and the fade outs. Then you pick up the needle and flip the record over part 2, and the wind fades in again. Exactly. I heard that. The wind was fading in when I started part 2. So it's, we're lazy in this generation. We don't have to flip the record. It just goes. So, but that's pretty cool. You had to. You're like, oh, time to flip the record about 22 minutes in. There's lots of Toll videos. It's another ultimate artistic expression. There's a coherent storyline. The lyrics are chopped up as music. Next to ELP, Jethro Tull, and Yes are my three top progressive English rock bands. There's something magical with Ian Anderson's lyrical writing. I agree. Very fun. Erica reaction. Copenhagen. Blah 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 blah. No, it's not the Peanuts. Jethro Tull wasn't much of a musician, but he invented one hell of a seed planter. Oh, they're talking about the original Jethro Tull, who invented whatever that farming innovation was. In my youth, I knew only the short version, had never heard this long version before, but I love it. Well, I'm glad YouTube exists now so that we can listen to old, new stuff that maybe you only heard a single version on the radio. Please, side two. Please do side two. Thanks for playing this. I still have the album. I was 20 when it was released in 72. Thick as a brick is a phrase meaning stubborn, need dumb. Yeah, I totally understood that because also in the end, when he said the wise men, the wise men don't know what it's like to be thick as a brick, meaning they're wise and thick as a brick people are stupid. I think part two is even better. I've debated this through the years. He's like, if I could only pick some albums to be stranded on an island with, it's definitely one of them. I think it's pretty good. I just don't think you would get bored of it. Like I was like, oh wow, this was really interesting. I'd have to listen a few more times to really take it all in. You nailed it. As I've said, Jethro Tull is the thinking man's rock and roll. By the way, the reason I say Tool, like tool, is because there is a linguistic merger that is happening. It's more for Western Pennsylvania, but I looked it up. There's a pull merger. Okay, so like pull and pull, like mine are almost exactly the same. I don't say like pull. I say pool, like the swimming pool and pool to me are like almost the same word. So tool and tool, like the band Tool and Jethro Tull are like practically the same for me. I don't say toll. So I just don't have that letter anymore. It is a real merger, but the merger my region actually has and is very famous for Northern California is the cot merger. That's the cot. I slept on a cot. I caught a ball. I don't say caught. I caught a ball. I say I caught a ball. I slept in a cot. I bought something, not I bought. So I ought to. I just say ought. I ought to. So I don't have that. That's already, and that's a genuine linguistic called the cot merger. Okay. So this is the pool merger. It is a real thing. So that's why I say Jethro Tull, because I don't have, so I apologize. But you know what else is being erased in my generation is we're saying women as woman. Like a single woman and woman has become the same. It's supposed to be like woman versus woman. But everyone just says woman. Most people say woman as women. It's complicated. Just these are things that happen. Everybody loved it. So that's why I'm reacting to this. You had to physically flip over. I think if the CD had been the dominant media, it would have been one track. Part two takes up right where part one left off and returns to a lot of the themes you heard in part one, was the reason why it makes me suspect that this would have not been two parts, but the vinyl record factor I mentioned at the outset. Yeah, because you guys, records can only fit about 45 minutes of material, and you had to flip it. So that's why we had limitations on album times. All the old albums are only 45 minutes. I love that because who has more than a 45-minute window ever? I don't. I mean, I work, right? And I have kids. So I barely can carve out 45 minutes to do anything. That's why for me to do that, it took me a while to get around to this 22-minute piece. So I'm working on that. And it is pronounced toll as it rhymes with seagull. Goal. Toll. Goal. Mine barely sound different. Toll. It's so subtle for me. Toll. Best concert I attended was Jethro Tull in 1970 or 1971. What I enjoy about prog rock brands such as Jethro Tull, Yes, and Rush is that they all have their own unique sounds. Great. Comments to all and everybody. Bungle in the jungle, nothing else. You have to remember this album is a spoof of a concept album. The real concept album is a passion play. You should react to that one too. Interesting. Your comments are so good. Thanks for reacting to Jethro Tull. If you like Thick as a Brick, you will like Terrapin Station. And then I wrote, you know that I'm in a Grateful Dead cover band called One Man Gone. That's so funny. I'm going to tell him that we are going to be playing in SoCal from June 5th through 11th. All right. It's true. I've never been to California, but isn't it supposed to be warm there? Why are you wearing a fur coat indoors? Okay, let me explain you something about the San Francisco Bay Area. Most of the places don't have air conditioning, first of all, because our temperature is very mild throughout the year. However, they build the walls very thin, so we have no insulation. So basically, we have heaters, but if you run the heater, you have to basically run it constantly because it doesn't keep heat in. And whatever the temperature is outside is basically the temperature inside. So that's why in the winter, I basically just put on a bunch of sweaters, because even if I run my heater, I only have like a few thermostats on the wall, and the California walls are so thin. So when you're in a restaurant in San Francisco, I'm usually wearing my coat inside in the winter because the restaurant's so cold. Whereas when you're on the East Coast, you go from outside and you're so cold, and then you go inside and you're so hot, and you have to take off all your layers, right? So in California, you actually leave your layers on because every building is colder than being outside practically, like seriously. So that's why. Please don't hum along trying to anticipate what Tull is going to do. It's fine for shitty bands that are predictable, but Tull follows no rules and your humming is annoying and off. I'm like, okay. There's simply no way you can be interested and appreciate the Renaissance middle without listening to the Gentle Giant. I'll be that guy who offers a contrarian opinion of Thick as the Brick. Relative to what their peers were coming up with, I consider it a subpar stab at an album-length concept epic album. Many of the individual bits are fine, but in my opinion, the transitions could have used more work. Plus, not all the individual parts work for me in context. I also find John Evans' keyboards relatively uninspired compared to his peers. And yes, Genesis and ELP were coming up in 1971, 1972. Side 1 is definitely better than Side 2, but even so, it's not an album I reach for often. For my money, Tull's golden age was Stand Up through Aqua Young. I'm glad JT explored this kind of epic length prog rock concept album here and on Passion Play, but in my opinion, they were equally well served when they moved on from it. Wow, that's an opinionated person, but I don't mind. I like people with opinions. And then people are adding into that. Like, you're right, the transitions are a little rough, and yeah, maybe it's a little sloppy, but they're different. Look, everybody can have opinions, okay? It's all right. So the main thing is we got a lot of comments on the first video, so I can't wait to see what you guys have to say about this video. And if there's really good comments, I'll even do a video that's just me reading the comments on Jethro Tull Thick as a Brick Part 2, which I really enjoyed. And I think in a way, I know this is very unorthodox, but because I took the 6 weeks off, I listened to so much music in between February 18th and today, March 24th, because I record about 60 minutes a day, at least 60, like actual recording time, probably 60 to 90 minutes of actual music playing. Plus I've been doing live streams that are about an hour long each a few times a week. So just the amount of new music I've listened to, it's hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. So I've gained so much knowledge between listening to Side 1 and Side 2 that I'm basically coming back as a different person. Plus, I get to have all your perspectives from the comments as they come in, because I do heart every comment. I read it and I like it. So I'm like, okay, I noted, but I have to go really fast because I have so many comments every day. But my perspectives do shift as I listen to more things. Like just yesterday, I listened to the Zombies Odyssey and whatever it's called, Odyssey and the one with Time for a Season as the last track on it. I'd never heard that album before. So now that I've heard that, my mind is blown, okay? But I only heard that yesterday, and I listened to Part 1 of Thick as a Brick back then. And you can even go chronologically if you want to know. The best way to know chronologically is you can't go by popular. You have to go by videos, okay? And then you have to go, this is sort of by latest. See that? Latest versus popular, okay? Then you can go down and you can see, well, and then especially I'm not sure when this will come out, but these are the ones that actually are coming out and stuff like that. But then under my membership videos, I have a ton of them because everything comes out members only. Oh, there we go. Members only. Exactly. Latest. There we go. So you can see all my members' first videos, and these are also put in the order of when I recorded. So if you think about it, from 1 month ago, this is definitely post listening to the first side of Jethro Tull, and I've listened to all of this stuff since then, since recording this, which is a lot of context added to my life. So it's really interesting, I think. All right. I will see you guys soon. This is so fun. I hit 21,000 subscribers. Yay. Thick as a Brick was such a popular video for YouTube. I definitely wanted to do side 2 anyway. That was always my intention. It's just that it's a 45-minute album. I have to talk after. So I can't, it's really hard for me to come up with 45 minutes and then also have about 30 minutes after to talk. That's a really long time. Whereas even this video, I'm at 39 minutes of recording right now, and the track was 22 minutes. So that's why I have to split things up like that. It's just really hard for me to have 2 hours to record one video. Plus, who has time to watch a 2-hour video? You guys have time, you put on like a YouTube video while you're cleaning or something, and you need about like 30 to 60 minutes, I think, for a nice long form YouTube video. Perfect length, because you just want to have it on while you're like folding your laundry or something. You don't want to watch like a 3-hour movie of me listening to like all of Woodstock or something. Maybe you do. I don't know. I just think I'm going to do that as separate pieces when I get to it. But this was a lot of fun. And I'm so glad I heard this album, and it was interesting. And like I said, if I had been a kid in 1972, I would have just listened to this over and over and over again. I would have just been turning over the record or just putting my needle back and listening to parts again, because I would have been like, oh, wait, I missed something. And plus, I have the lyrics on Spotify, like karaoke style, where I can see the lyrics as it's happening, and I even know what the next lyric's going to be, so then my mind can already prepare for that idea. Whereas when you're just hearing it without lyrics, I don't know if they had the lyrics, because when we had CDs, usually they printed the lyrics in those little jewel case books, but I don't know if you guys had that with records. Like, I don't know if they came with lyrics with them. So that means you guys were like listening. You guys don't have the internet. You couldn't just look up like, I wonder what the lyrics are to this song. Whereas like I've been able to do that since 1996 or something, like ever since AOL came out, I've been able to look up stuff on the internet, and it's been part of my existence. Like since I was 12 years old, that I've been able to just look up stuff on the internet. I only remember a little bit of pre-internet. For example, when we were playing video games in the early 90s, like LucasArts games that were really hard, you had to call a 1-900 number to get hints and like pay money to get a clue, like if you were stuck in the game. And then, how long was that era? 5 years? And then, because Nintendo was like 1989 and I wasn't playing, I was like very little. But then when Super Nintendo and then N64 came out, like 96, we're like playing in 1996, whatever. And then eventually by like 2000, everything's on the internet. There's forums, there's websites, like everyone's building websites. And so all of a sudden information was very exchangeable. But you guys had 30 years before 2000 of not having the internet. I can't even imagine. So you guys just had to like look for a book that was published or a newspaper article or go to a record store and talk to other people. There were no forums. Like I can't even understand. Maybe you could go to like a meeting, like a music lovers meeting, and talk to people about it. I guess if you went to concerts, you could like talk to other people at the concert who had similar interests, which is pretty cool. But it's just an interesting cultural shift that happened. And they say, I'm a millennial, they say that millennials, we have a very interesting job. We are the last generation that lived in both eras. So we started non-digital. I didn't have the internet or a smartphone or anything for my childhood. First 15 years, I didn't even have a cell phone. At 15, I got one of those little dumb Nokia phones, but I only used it to call my mom. I never even texted. I like played Snake on it. I like was like, whatever. And then in college, we started having like the flip phones and texting. And then Facebook came out while I was in college, not high school. That's important. So kids that had social media in high school, that already like effed up their whole mind. Okay. So I had a whole childhood without the digital age. And then we just started getting into the internet, but I did apply for college online. not by paper. And I had email in high school. So that's the main difference. I had email in high school, but like the internet, there was no social media yet. There was just like early media, early internet. So then college came, and that's when everything, and then when I graduated college was the year the iPhone came out. So I basically got through my whole childhood without smartphones. So they say that my generation, we're the ones that are going to basically be the last ones remembering the non-digital world. So of course, boomers, you guys are doing that all the time, but you guys will be gone before I'm gone. And I'll have to pass on everything from your generation. That's part of the reason I'm doing a lot of 1970s and 1960s stuff on my channel, is that I still have you guys here for a while. You know, some of you guys are going to live till 95. Okay. Sorry, you're going to suffer. You're going to suffer with me until you're like old and 98 years old, and you'll still be on my channel. So I have another 20 years of you guys watching me, maybe, maybe not. But the point is that I want to gain everything from my parents' generation, at least, that they can tell me firsthand. I can barely know things from my grandparents' generation. They're gone. So I can just get the rest of the information from you guys, and then I can pass that to my children, and then they can maybe pass it to their children. And then at least we have that existing for a little bit longer, you know, just like how much do we think about the 1880s? I mean, I think about the 1880s sometimes in terms of what classical music came out and stuff like that. And there was like a lot of good books from the 1880s, and we still read some of those books, and we still listen to many of those symphonies. But I don't really think about it, right? So like, I don't know that much about 1880, but I would like to know a lot about 1970s. Does that make sense? Like, I want it to be not something that's so ancient the way we think of 1880. So anyway, that's part of the reason I'm doing this, because I think it's interesting. And I'll have many more years to react to music of the 80s and 90s and 2000s for people that haven't heard that, right? Like, so I'll have many more years to do that. I won't have as many times to have first-hand accounts of y'all who lived through it, like who was there and who like bought these albums. And I won't have, maybe, I mean, I think some of you will live a really long time, for better or for worse, whatever that means for you. Some people don't really want to live past 80 because it gets bad, and some people want to live to 120. That's all great. I'm just saying I'm here for you as long as you want to be. So, and hopefully I can stay alive you never know, you know, anything can happen. You never know. Anyone can die young or old, whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm just saying that's my plan, and I hope to be here to do that. So thank you. This was fun. By the way, this was, like someone sponsored Thick as a Brick, and I couldn't do all of it at the time just because it was a whole album, but I decided to just do the second half anyway without getting any additional tip for it. Just so you know, I just was like, I really do want to finish this album. So this was my own fruition. This was not like, oh, someone just tipped me to do part 2. It's like, no, I actually was like, no, I need to finish part 2. It's really important. So that's why I chose to do this, by the way. So, okay, I'll see you guys soon. Bye.